Okay, good afternoon. Let's get this meeting kicked off. Today is March 2nd, 2026. Let the record reflect that all members are present, minus Councilwoman Carter. She asked for an excuse. And with that, we have the February 16th meeting minutes.
That we approve the minutes from our committee meeting on February 16th.
We have a proper motion in place. All those in favor, please state by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Now we are down to public comment on agenda items. If there's anybody here from the public that would like to speak, you have up to 3 minutes. Now is your time. Seeing anybody here? Anybody online? All right, we should have somebody though. Jack, did somebody give you a heads up that we should have somebody here to speak on resolution F?
You just gave me the heads up now.
Okay. Okay, well then we'll move down to discussion action item B, resolution Brownfield Plan number 80, Capitol Walk Apartments, South Chestnut Street on the 500 block. We held our public hearing last Monday on the 23rd. Good afternoon, Eric, Chris. Hello. Do you guys have anything else to add to this before we move it back out for a final vote?
So obviously here for any questions, but just to, offer some further clarification, getting some feedback after the council presentation. So just want to address a few quick items if that's all right.
Yeah, please.
So one of the things we discussed was the community outreach, knowing that the developer had previously met with the DLI board as well as Councilmember President Spatafor. As we get through this, continue through this process, they're currently reaching out to their tenants at Metro Place and getting any feedback, informing them of the project, as they're the largest concentration of nearby residential. But then also, depending on we had a lot of discussion on the Rudd Park Fountain, of course, and that has been a priority for quite some time. So, if that's not the route that their commitment to public infrastructure takes, and discussing other options and opportunities for that, we'll definitely be reaching out, communicating with Parks Department, stakeholders, the public, on how best to use those dollars to improve the park. So just wanted to help clarify some of that.
Yeah, appreciate that. It sounds like the city already has like a pot of like $500,000 put aside, and with another additional $100,000.
Yeah.
Which still falls, I guess, quite short from what they said it would cost to repair that fountain. But regardless, I mean, that's still a substantial amount of capital investment, and very much appreciate that.
Yeah. So it's just one more step with that. I think it was what I've heard is 1.2 around about total cost for that. And then another thing, I'm not sure if I made it clear within the presentation, something I'll definitely correct for next time, but with the rental calculations, the rent rates that are provided, those are published by MISHDA, but they're the all-in housing cost. So they're the base rent plus fees, utilities, whether that be parking, whatnot. So that's supposed to represent the entire cost. So if you look at it just as base rent, it doesn't seem realistic, right? But so just want to provide that context as well, that those are all-in rent numbers for those income categories that we provided under the 80 to 120 AMI. And then as far as financial need for the project, and we see this with a lot of brownfield plans, especially ones of this size, utilizing the brownfield capture to help finance some of the upfront cost. It's very difficult, if not impossible, to get the entirety of a project financed. So when we're talking about nearly $40 million, using that capture throughout 30 years, you get to realize about 12 million of that as far as the amount available to the project up front. And that's something, folks can relate to, with whether it be a house or a car or whatever. When you're financing something, longer that goes out the term, you tend to pay much greater for it. So that the upfront investment of 40 million, having the brownfield be a part of that capital stack, including their primary lender and equity. So I just want to make that clear as well, how they're utilizing that here. But without the brownfield, the debt service coverage ratio, which typically if you're trying to get financing, it's somewhere about 1.25 to 1.35, depending on the bank or financing mechanism. Without that, it was it 1.04, around 1 was the debt service coverage without the brownfield. So with the brownfield, that brings it to that 1.5 mark, which they'd need for their traditional financing. So the financial need, and this is the first plan that we've had go fully through our brownfield policy. So learning from feedback in that too, making sure that we're presenting all the factors that we look at when we're vetting a project. So things we'll look to include in the next presentation. I'll try to shorten it, but include that additional information.
And I appreciate that. And I think, because I did see some, comments, whether it was online or in public that day, that where they said that, $26.6 million captured over 30 years, and then the project is $38.8 million. Like that's a big substantial amount of money that's getting saved by the developer or captured back by the developer. Can you just explain, I guess maybe at the next meeting, I think you guys would be a little bit better to answer any questions, because I know there's some concern about the amount of the brownfield and the amount of the capital investment.
Yeah, and that's like really the net present value of those dollars. If they want to get those in upfront into the project, help finance it, that value isn't, it's around 24 million, I think, capture like reimbursement to the developer. But
Yeah, 24 developer and 26.2 or 3 is total capture, but that's coming back. That goes to the city, that goes to the Brownfield Authority, that goes to the state. So, yeah.
Yeah, but so when utilizing that tool, like understanding when you're looking at the raw numbers, 38 million of total investment up front, that doesn't include the financing costs over the term of that. Same with the brownfield. I mean, that's a bit of a reverse for the brownfield. That's throughout 30 years, right? But again, looking to borrow against the future capture, they're not going to get dollar for dollar. It's heavily discounted, just that present value of funds, right? So
It's currently a parking lot right now.
That's correct. Yeah, and the other thing about the structure is it's not upfront money, of course, they're financing it. So this TIF, this money that's monetized, the $12 million, utilizing and leveraging the 24 million is post-construction. So they have to come up with the construction financing. And then on the back end, when they do their perm financing, that's when the $12 million comes in. But the bank is looking at the 24 million. So they want their cake and eat it too. Lenders always do, as we all know, banks do. The other thing is on that debt service coverage ratio that he was talking about, meaning a minimum of 1.25 up to 1.35 is which lenders want to have without the brownfield. So with this entire term, it is just breaking one. So every dollar goes in is a dollar return. But no investor, I don't care who you are, doesn't matter what you're investing in, you're not going to put a dollar in and get 1.04, get 4 cents back. So that's the way they look at it. And when I mean they, it's the lenders, in this. So,
and it wouldn't provide any cushion either. So that's, you're talking about the operating income of the development. If it's, if it's a 1-to-1 debt service coverage ratio, they have $1 that they made on it, but then, that only covers the debt that's on it. So anything in addition to that, yes, whether it be, revenue for the developer or just cushion to have that in case there's a shortfall or higher vacancy or what higher costs, whatever it might
market
be.
changes.
Yeah.
We could have several years that taxable value remains flat. We've had those years in the past. We've had years where they've gone negative in the city, and we all know that. So they're looking at those risk factors, and that's why they have that higher coverage ratio, 1.25 to 1.35. They also looked at it over 15 years. So even though the term of the brownfield is, again, they're looking at, well, we need that certainty over the 15 years. So that's a 15-year average. We have several years in the front end, even with the TIF. I think there's 4, I believe it's 4 years that we fall below that. But because the average over 15 exceeds 1.25, that's where this makes it acceptable. So.
Any comments or questions? I don't have any further comments or questions either. So with that, look for a motion.
Yep, so moved.
Okay, we have a proper motion in place. All those in favor, please state by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, motion passes. So the
Thank you.
guys be able to be there if there's any additional questions from council. Great, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, moving down to resolution C, Act 3, 2026, the 300 block of East Kalamazoo Street, State of Michigan and City of Lansing easement. Mr. Fedewa.
Yes. This is a request by the Public Service Department and the state of Michigan to exchange easements across 3 properties that will formalize various built improvements on each other's land. During the construction of 2 state buildings in 1990 and 2008, various infrastructure improvements were built inadvertently on City of Lansing property. These include storm drains, walls, loading docks, outbuildings. I don't know if they all include all these, or it was just the easement language.
I think it's just the easement.
Okay. But it covered different infrastructure, generators, portico signage, plantings. It was pretty expansive. And then the conditions of the easement allow for future improvements in that area and affirm that the state is solely responsible for ongoing operation, maintenance, repair, replacement, and management of their infrastructure. There's an aerial and a technical drawing in your materials kind of showing those. I believe I put them in pink. Yes. And then as part of this, the city would seek a reciprocal easement along the east property line of 307 East Kalamazoo Street that we have been using for the river trail. And again, we would be solely responsible for the improvement or the maintenance and ongoing improvements of that. And that's shown in blue on that aerial and technical drawing. Let's see, these came to light, or these details were overlooked during the construction. And they came to light when the city was reaching maintenance responsibilities for the River Trail Plaza and Overlook area at the river's edge, where the Washtenaw right-of-way was vacated. And we also have Andy Kilpatrick here from Public Service to kind of provide any more details if the committee has any questions.
So this just ensures the proper legal frameworks in place.
No changes to existing use. It's just that we noticed some things. So this is correcting, I'll say most of them. We still also may not be aware, but with the Grand Tower, their loading area pull off there. Because of the fact that that's pushed back, the actual sidewalk is on Grand Tower property. So I didn't want to hold this up. But then we also have our traffic signal at Kalamazoo and Grand, and to meet ADA behind the pole, we might need a little bit of property from the state. So we're ongoing discussions with actually a number of right-of-way property situations downtown and trying to make all those correct.
So just to get this straight, the pink in here would be the state's responsibility and the blue would be the city's responsibility?
Correct.
It seems pretty straightforward to me. Do you have any comments or questions?
No.
With that, I'll take the motion.
So moved.
Okay, we have a proper motion in place. All those in favor, please state by saying aye. Okay, motion passes, and that will come to council on the 9th as well.
Yep.
Thank you. Thanks.
Will either one of you guys be there in case there's any questions from council?
Can be. Do you think there will be?
I'll say, Mr. Kilpatrick, I can be there.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate you guys both being here today. All right, moving down to ordinance D, Z-1-2026, 500 South Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard, rezoning from DT-1 Downtown Edge to DT-2 Urban Flex. And I guess we could take both D and E together because the E is the special land use. You want to kind of give it just a little high level overview, and gentlemen, if you want to introduce yourself, I know that you're with the church, right?
Oh, yes. I thought,
I'll actually let Pastor Craig kick off if you want, because you have the most intimate knowledge of your operations.
so hi, I'm Pastor Kenny Craig of the Union Baptist Church. I came to just answer questions, but am I giving an overview of how we got here? Is that what we're doing?
I mean, if you would like to real quick, I understand that you guys are going to try to help, shelter the unhoused, and you obviously need to change the zoning for it, especially.
Sure. So we've been, since December, helping with the city's ongoing need to house or to fight overnight warming for the unhoused, specifically for families. When this was presented to us from Susan Cancro at Evan House, and of course, Luciana Solis from the Interfaith Council. When all this was presented to us, it was a group of pastors convened together to say, hey, can the churches help the city with some of these ongoing housing issues? Specifically these families who have been determined by Advent House who've been sleeping in cars, children are sleeping in cars. And how could we help the families? And so after considerable consideration with our staff and volunteers, we stated that we would go and certainly help meet the need. Now, some of the churches couldn't because you have to have a fire suppression system. You have all these hoops you have to jump through to qualify. We would happen to be one of the ones that did. But Father Richardson and Crystal Ray, although they didn't have the fire suppression system, they partnered with us. They donated food and blankets and pillows and volunteers, and we had volunteers from the community. So while we were hosting, it was not simply just a union effort, it was a community effort. And so since December up until even right now, we're still seeing families that we're housing in an overnight from 9 p.m. to 7 a.m. And it's really just as I explained at the last council meeting, we are not trying to get into the housing business. We're just helping the city meet a need as it was asked of us in just this season. Now, the future of this for next year, that's that's a question mark. We'll have to have some conversations because we'll need some I would call facilities upgrades to really do this on a consistent basis. But for now, we are certainly here to try to help the city and particularly these families. So we don't do any individual, any adult on housing. It's just families. You have to have a underage child to get into our facility. And that's what we're doing.
Andy, I appreciate what you're doing. That's great work for our community because there's a lot of people out there struggling. And Michigan, obviously, we have that climate where it's pretty rough to be outside if you're not housed. So thank you for what you're doing.
Yes, appreciate it.
Want to add anything to that? Can you explain about how this has to work as far as like the special land use and the what is it? The rezoning. Yeah, so one has to go before the other.
So a sheltered care facility is allowed as a special land use in the DT2 district, but not in the DT1 district. So the council would have to hold a vote approving the rezoning to DT2 first, and then subsequently approving the special land use permit for that sheltered care facility and that DT2.
Perfect. Okay. And we will be setting a public hearing for the special land use on the.
Oh, that's already.
The other one, those two already had.
Oh, I apologize. Okay, yeah. So that will go for final on the 9th. Okay. Okay. Do you have anything to add?
Just thank you so much. I mean, imagining children in cars in this weather is crazy. So thank you for.
Thank you.
So moved.
Okay, we have we'll do one at a time. We'll do D first. We have a proper motion in place. All those in favor, please state by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, motion passes. And then with E, the special land use. I'll take a motion for that as well.
So moved.
Okay, we have proper motion in place. All those in favor, please state by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, motion passes. Well, thank you for being here. Very much appreciate it. And we will be voting on this on the 9th.
All right, thank you. Thank you. Now, will I need to be here on the 9th as well?
And if you'd like to, I mean, you don't necessarily have to be, but I mean, if you'd like to be here, I think it would it'd be good.
Okay, you asked everybody else. I thought, if I get the same question. Thank you.
And so we're to resolution F. This is the setting of public hearing, special land use 2026 at 5200 South Cedar Street, unit 5206, to authorize use of the rear suite as a place of worship.
That pretty much is it. This is a request from the Islamic Society of Greater Lansing for a special land use permit to occupy one suite of the shopping plaza at 5200 South Cedar Street. I believe the actual address is 5206. It was historically, or most recently, a place of assembly. There was an event center that was there. I believe they had an occupancy of upwards to 300 people. So this actually would be a good fit for the place of worship. They have their existing place in East Lansing, I believe off Harrison, and their just population is growing. And so this is an opportunity for them to expand into Lansing and offer services in the city of Lansing. They're not making any changes to the building. There's plenty of parking on the rear and in the front. They stated they would be using the building up to 5 times a day, every day of the week. But their use would fluctuate as, you know, some events are a little more popular, or I guess utilized more than others. And I believe we have the applicant on with us. They had a conflict with meeting, so I'm glad they were able to join virtually and that you consented to letting them speak. Yeah, staff didn't have any concerns. We recommended approval and planning commission recommended approval unanimously.
Yeah, I guess my only thing is, I know it's a strip mall and there's other businesses. Has anybody reached out to any of the adjacent businesses? Because if they're gonna be there 5 days a week, how will that affect like the parking, for instance? If we have a congregation filling up all the parking spots, you know, let's say someone wants to go into Little Caesars or whatever other building, place of business that's in there. Has anybody reached out to the adjacent businesses?
I can't speak to, staff hasn't, so I will let the applicant if they have. But they have said that the applicant will be largely utilizing the rear of the building, so the west of the building. So most of their parking would actually be in the rear during their times of activity, leaving the front portion or the east portion available. But you know, there's a few hundred parking spaces there. I believe there's more than enough to satisfy the different levels of uses and different times of use.
Good afternoon, sir. I'm gonna try to not to butcher your name. Fasten Sardar?
That's correct. Yeah, good afternoon. Thank you for having me. As Andrew said, yes, we'll be utilizing the rear entrance of the building, and that will be the primary entrance for use itself. And as for your concern about the businesses, we have not spoken to them directly, but we think they will benefit from our attendance there. Hopefully, more people will shop there at the Wings Knob and at the pizza place there, and the global food market as well.
Great. Well, thank you for being here, sir. I appreciate that. Will either of you guys be able to attend on the, we're gonna be setting the public hearing on the 9th. For the public hearing will actually be on, April 6th.
May I request, because special land uses, you only need 10 to 14 day public hearing notice time. Would it be possible to set the public hearing for March 23rd?
Because it's not along with the zoning, right? Because usually I thought it couldn't be less than 15 days.
That's only rezonings. I meant to make that. That's
Special land use.
See, this says SLU special land use. Says no less than 15 days. Oh, Dan could look at that.
If you're right, Mr. Fido, I don't have a problem with it. We'd have to check with the council president because he sets the agenda. So, so you're looking to see about if it's possible to have it on the 9th.
No, it would be right there. I wouldn't see a problem with it just because that's usually, you know, if we can have it within the time frame.
we're only just trying to help the applicant.
Yeah, no, not a problem. I just want to make sure.
Andy, do you have a different site?
Are you looking at the Planning and Enabling Act?
I am. Zoning and Enabling Act.
Zoning and Enabling. You think I'd have this memorized by now?
I don't anticipate that. What I'm looking at is 125.3103 sub 1. And it says, except as otherwise provided under this act. And then I'm looking at the section regarding zone SLUs.
Sorry, 125.
I went fast. 3103 sub 1.
Yeah, I just remember that we spoke about.
We did, and
Our zoning ordinances.
it may, I think it best to err on the side of more notice, and then I can provide a more definite answer to that subsequent.
No,
That's fine.
no, I just want to do it correctly.
So for, as of right now, then what we'll do is we'll set the public hearing on the 9th for, April 6th. Okay, for a motion.
So moved.
Okay, we have a proper motion in place. All those in favor, please state by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, motion passes. And I don't see any further business on the agenda, so we are adjourned at 4:25.
Give a minute now so we can nip this in the bud.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you all for being here.